بندہ ملنے کو قریب حضرت قادر گیا لمحہ باطن میں گم نے جلوائے ظاہر گیا تیری آمد تھی کہ بیت اللہ مجرے کو جھکا تیری آمد تھی کہ بیت اللہ مجرے کو جھکا تیری آمد تھی کہ بیت اللہ مجرے کو جھکا اور تیری ہیبت تھی کہ ہر بت تھر تھرا کے گر گیا تیری ہیبت تھی کہ ہر بت تھر تھرا کے گر گیا Most Honorable Qibla Hazrat Sahib, respectable ulama and respected audience, I've been asked to say a couple of things regarding the ashar which I read in English, and the reason for choosing these particular ashar is because first of all they are written by Alah Hazrat Imam Ahl Sunnat rahimahullah ta'ala, and secondly because we are gathered here today to celebrate the Milad of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, and living in a society and culture where different ideologies are beginning to take birth and to form, and the main aim behind these ideologies is to remove the love of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam from the hearts of the believers. And one of the ways in which these ideologies is being made effective, or is being tried to be made effective, is by bringing Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam down, ma'azallah, astaghfirullah, to our level, and to say that Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, he is no particularly special person, only that he received a message from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and misquoting and misreferencing the ayat of the Quran, in that taking one half of the ayat and concealing the other half of the ayat and reading ayat incompletely, like قُلْ إِنَّمَا أَنَا بَشَرٌ مِثْلُكُمْ, and saying that Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam has been ordered by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself to say that I am but a mere bashar like you, leaving out the rest of the ayat which completely negates this concept of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam being like us, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala himself, he says, yuha ilayya, I receive revelations. When he receives revelations, that means he's no longer from amongst the ordinary bashar. But these particular ashar, they mention some qualities of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam. And coming back to the topic of Milad, just looking at the birth of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam will tell anyone that Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam is like no other creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the best creation, the supreme creation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to the extent that even his birth is absolutely unique. There has been no birth like this throughout the history of humanity. Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, when he's born absolutely pure. Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam is born with his umbilical cord cut. He's born pre-circumcised. He's born with surma already applied in his eyes. And he's born in such a state that he immediately falls into prostration and begins to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. On his birth, the holy Kaaba itself, it bows towards the house of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, and all the idols within the Kaaba, they fall flat on their faces onto the floor, which is mentioned by Alah Hazrat in this particular verse. Teri आमद थी कि बैतुल्लाह मुजरे को झुका, तेरी हैबत थी कि हर बुत थर थरा के गिर गया. And then we see those people saying things like, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, ma'azallah, astaghfirullah, we have two eyes, so did he, we have two hands, and so do we, and creating similarities like this. And regarding this, Alah Hazrat Imam Ahl Sunnat, he mentions, तेरी मर्जी पा गया सूरज फिरा उल्टे कदम. Yes, we too have two hands, but we too have two hands, but our hands, when we beckon anyone with intellect, they may refuse to come to us. And Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam is such that he beckons to the sun and it returns after having set. And in a state of childhood, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam plays with the moon with his finger. It follows the movement of his finger. And as Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam is requested to show a miracle, Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam indicates toward the moon and it splits into two parts. Teri marzi pa gaya suraj phira ulte qadam. Teri marzi pa सूरज फिरा उल्टे कदम और तेरी उंगली उठ गई महका कलेजा चिर गया. तेरी उंगली उठ गई महका कलेजा चिर गया. क्यों जनाबे बूहरैरा कैसा था वो जामशीर. And I'll leave you with this last verse. Alah Hazrat Imam Ahl Sunnat makes a reference to a famous narration and a famous miracle of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, in which Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, and one day he's famished, he's hungry, and coming to Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam's presence, he hopes that he may be presented with something. And in this duration, a bowl of milk is presented before Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, and he's ordered by Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam to gather the other Sahaba and then to take it round to the other Sahaba, thinking to himself that there's one bowl of milk, and if I take this round to everybody else, I don't know if this will leave anything for me at the end. But with the blessings of Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wasallam, there were 70 of those Sahaba, and they were all able to drink to their fill. And when it came, Sayyidina Abu Hurairah radiallahu ta'ala, and he says, when it came back to me, right at the very end, it was as if nothing had been drunk from it. Subhanallah. Kyun janabe Abu Hurairah kaisa tha wo jamshir. Kyun janabe Abu Hurairah تھا وہ جام شیر جس سے 70 صاحبوں کا دودھ سے منہ پھر گیا، جس سے 70 صاحبوں کا دودھ سے منہ پھر گیا.
سبحان اللہ، ماشاء اللہ.